All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Post Perez for June 2024. My name is WH Park with Karen Peterson. Karen, how are you this evening?
Well, hurricane season has officially started in, the United States. So my dog is having a miserable time. So I'm doing my best, hoping the electric doesn't go out because we're under a tornado watch right now.
So how do you feel having experienced the season many times over? Like how does tonight feel? Like you're a little worried. You're a lot worried.
You asked that, and the thunder just
Oh, there you
rolled.
go. Sorry, I jinxed you.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not worried at all. It's more the seeing my dog stressed out about the thunder and the rain here. It makes me stressed out, but then I also remember I don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow because I have a work from home day tomorrow.
There you go.
We get to get cozy, sleep in a little.
I gotta go to work with an impending transit strike here in Toronto that will make my life getting to work and coming back home a little difficult. Not impossible, just a little difficult. And my work said they would pay for my Uber to and from. And Uber said they're going to cap pricing, so there's no surge charging.
Good.
So we'll see. If they do, it's paid for. They want me to come. They didn't say you stay home. There's a strike. They said we want you here. We'll pay for your Uber from Union Station to the store.
There you go.
Which is, I'm gonna say I think I've done something close to that, like going from the store to where the BDE live, which is not that far from Union Station. That's all I'm gonna say. Just in case there are stalkers out there listening to this. Poison around of stalkers out there. There could be. But it's maybe about $20. Like,
that's not bad.
So yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's an adventure. Life is an adventure, Karen Peterson.
Life very much is.
As Canadian rock legend Tom Cochrane would sing, "Life is a highway." Though I'm not a big fan of Tom Cochrane. I had a conversation at work today. Okay, someone said, like, I was making fun of this biography I saw about the one of the members of April Wine, Canadian classic rock band from the 70s, and the introduction or the testimonial on the front cover was by the lead singer. I forget his name. The lead singer of a band called Great Big Sea, another Canadian band. And I was telling my coworker, like, I don't like either band. He's like, what Canadian bands do you like, WH? I said, might be easier just that might be easier to say than which Canadian bands I don't like, which is a lot. There's a lot of Canadian music artists I don't like because they're not for me, not my musical taste. People like, WH, you're from Canada? Do you like Bryan Adams? I'm like, no. Bryan Adams is boring. Everyone says Bryan Adams is the fucking Bruce Springsteen of Canada. I'm like, that's bullshit.
No,
they're not the same. Like, why? Because they both wear fucking denim. No. If you listen to their fucking lyrical content, they're far and away very different. What do you think about the Tragically Hip? Hey, Gord Downey, rest in peace. Never been a fan. Tragically Hip. Canada's greatest export. No, I don't think so. Who I do like. Okay, first 3 albums by Blue Rodeo, fucking great. A band called Crash Vegas, fucking great. A band called Chalk Circle, love them. I like bands like Skinny Puppy. 5440 I'm a big fan of. I don't like Bryan Adams, but I like Corey Hart because he's actually written some pretty good pop songs. Very diverse in his music as well. Anyways, for hip hop, I really liked. I knew his sister, Maestro Fresh West, great Canadian rapper. Cardinal Official, people like that. That's good stuff. Dream Warriors. Don't talk to me about the Bare Naked Ladies. If there's one Canadian artist I fucking despise with every fiber of my fucking being, it's the fucking Bare Naked fucking Ladies. You know what they are? They're the fucking Canadian musical equivalent of fucking DDT. Okay? They're the fucking musical equivalent of the fucking Young Bucks. Okay? They're overrated and they're fucking shit. Okay? Fucking comedy acts. Fuck you. I've never bought a fucking Bare Naked Lady record. I would never willingly listen to a Bare Naked Lady song. But anyways, We're talking Japanese wrestling.
I'm afraid to ask you what your thoughts on Celine Dion and Avril Lavigne are at this point.
Literally, whatever. Celine Dion, whatever. She made the Titanic song, whatever. I'm indifferent to Celine Dion and Avril Lavigne. Okay, like,
all right.
Most of my favorite acts are like from the UK. To be honest with you, usually kind of British music is usually kind of my favorite 60s band and 70s. The Who, Pink Floyd. Those are bands I kind of. Well, anyways, this is good. This is we've really gone off the beaten path here.
I haven't said anything.
You're here for the ride, Karen. You're here for the ride.
I am in the navigation seat, just changing the dial on the radio.
So it's hurricane season in Florida, but other than that, how have things been in your life?
Life is good. I'm on a journey of self-discovery. I'm trying to, not just dive every single free moment of my time into wrestling. I'm trying new things. I'm reading. I'm cooking.
How about the new Star Wars show? You watched that? The 2 episodes yet? I
have not. But I wanted to finish up Fire and Blood before House of the Dragon comes back next weekend. And I have to watch an X-Men movie.
That's right.
For something in a couple of weeks.
Who's gonna be listening? John. John told me he came to visit me at work today because John and Wei, on their latest episode of Talk. By the way, this show is free, so all the freeloaders are listening. But hey, if you want to listen to John and Wei talk on probably one of my favorite shows, and maybe not my favorite show on the Post Wrestling Network, which is Talk, just John and Jay Wei talking. Okay, they said something to the effect, not exactly, but something to the effect of they thought maybe it'd be nice to see more certain people that live in Toronto in person more. I might have been one of those people that they said, oh, we should see WH more. Maybe, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but yeah, that's the gist of it. But I saw him. It was nice. 15-minute conversation. And I don't know where I'm. Oh, yeah. He said, WH, I'm following along with you and Rich on MCU later. I'm watching all the X-Men movies to prepare to listen to the reviews. And God damn it, he's going to be on one of the fucking reviews. We got John Pollock.
Let's go. Oh.
But if you want to hear, listen, if you want to hear talk, if you're a freeloader, you got to pay up. You got to pay the Patreon. You got to buy a double espresso, whatever the fuck level over at fucking, Post Wrestling, patreon.com/Post Wrestling, Post Wrestling Cafe. God damn it, it's worth it. Because not only do you get talk, you get all this other, you get all the pay-per-view reviews, you get fucking SmackDown reviews.
New Japan reviews.
You get the New Japan reviews by Karen Peterson and the Empress herself and the fucking big Brewdog himself, Bruce Lord. How you doing, Bruce Lord? I know you're a big fucking Post Perez fan. I hope you're well, my friend. When you come back to Toronto? Maybe Big Bruce Lord's gonna visit Toronto for Money in the Bank weekend, just like everyone else. You know who's coming to Toronto?
Not me.
Benno. Fucking Benno's coming.
Let's go!
What the fuck? Anyway,
Post Wrestling's Benno.
That's right. We still consider him part of the family. That's right. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. We should get to the news about Perez. That's what people actually want to listen to. Maybe not me going off on tangents and ranting on the freeloaders. That's usually an MCU later staple. Me going off on the freeloaders. But anyways, hey, listen. If you're listening to this, I appreciate you. I really do. Go. I'm not. You can buy this T-shirt. I love this T-shirt, but you can also buy the Empress T-shirt. You can buy the Long and Winding Road T-shirt. The Post Perez T-shirt. The MCU later T-shirt. Not just T-shirts, hoodies,
hats. You got a nice hat hoodies. On.
I do. This is the Poison Red hat. I love this hat. Represent Brandon Davey. Slit. Anyways, sorry. Oh yeah, you know what? Who's got a new like baseball jersey? John Cena.
I saw.
John Cena's What Up Doe show's got a new jersey. It looks nice, and our friend Martin Bushby, our other friend Richard Avian, and my acquaintance Brandon from New Jersey. That's right. You're not friend level yet, Brandon. Maybe.
I got to work on my merch game, man. I got to catch up to everybody.
That's right. They got a jacket. They got like a jacket.
I'm full on after looking at the the button down shirt and matching shorts combo. I'm like, I want pajamas. Can I do like Empress pajamas?
You know what?
World
maybe
pajama nation
Richard
is my
Avian
passion.
is fucking listening to this, and he's like thinking,
Let's do pajama.
why
Big
he's
pajama
fighting the
jam.
why he's fighting the giant wolf spiders on his palatial estate in Australia.
Burn
Maybe
him
he's thinking, you know what? Pajamas with the
Paja-
Empress design. Yeah. There you go.
Comfy pajamas. That's all I want.
Anyways, we do thank everyone who's listening. Thank you so much. If you do want to support anything I post, not just myself or Karen, you know, chopped-tees.com. There's lots of choices. And not just post wrestling stuff. There's a lot of brands on there. So go give it a look and see something that catches your eye. And the shipping is free.
And there's so many cool designs.
There's
so options for everybody.
The carbon footprint is small because they use local, dealers and shit.
I love that.
It's good stuff.
It's good for the environment.
It's good. I mean, when here's what I tell people, Karen, like I try to, do my best for ecology and stuff. But, at my age, like by the time the actual, environment collapses, I'm going to be dead. So like,
we'll be part of the environment. We'll be part of the fertilizer.
I don't have any kids. What do I care?
Me neither. I got dog. That's it.
There you go. Anyways, let's start off. We got a lot to talk about, actually. Let's talk about some shows we talked about, we previewed on previous episodes, Karen. Let's talk about the big one all together, 2024 from May 6th at Budokan Hall. This was the inaugural show for the Japan Pro Wrestling Federation, aka New Japan and everyone else, as I like to call this group.
New Japan and friends.
Yes, Bushi Road and hanger-ons. That's how they perceive it. Let's be honest. All right, this was for the Noto Peninsula Reconstruction Support Charity, a good cause, and featured New Japan, DDT, Noah, Big Japan, and Stardom. The recorded attendance was 4,583 people at Budokan, which is not bad. It's a pretty decent number. But no All Japan was on this show, Karen, because
alas,
I think people in New Japan were like, you know what, we're just gonna get jobbed out, and we don't need that. And I believe Yuma Aoyagi, he was like on the socials saying, that maybe he wants to take All Japan into kind of an isolationist kind of a period where they just do their own thing. You know what? I'm not against that. Just take care of your own business. Don't worry about the politics of dealing with. Yeah. Particularly New Japan.
I mean, it's one of those things that if everyone's willing to play together and no one's worried about protecting anyone, then sure, fine, let's do it. But the hard thing about a show when you have this many moving parts, it's the same thing with shows like Forbidden Door. It's certain people have to be protected, certain people can't lose, certain people have to do this and that, and then it's like checks and balances of trying to make it an even distribution. And I'm like, it's not the point. It's a charity show. It's supposed to be fun.
Oh, that didn't happen on this show. We'll talk about it. All right, let's just go through the results. You have any thoughts? I watched some of it, folks. I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. Opening match, 6-man tag, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Sanshiro Takagi, Naomichi Marufuji. What's the Japanese word for president, Karen? Sancho?
Shacho,
right. That's right. The Shacho Express here, taking on House of Evil. I get me confused.
I was like, how do you do that, LIJ?
No, sorry. Oh, one of them was in LIJ. Evil.
Back in the day.
Good Ren Narita. And everyone's favorite pseudo pimp, Yujiro Takahashi.
John Pollock's favorite wrestler, Yujiro Takahashi.
That's right. House of Torture 1, Evil with the evil on Tanahashi in 8 minutes 50 seconds. Here's a match for you, Karen. Keno versus Kosei Fujita. The winner, Keno, in 9 minutes 44 seconds, following the PFS. What do you think? This match was okay. I liked it. I thought like Fujita showed a lot of fire against Keno, but the outcome was not in anyone's no doubt in anyone's mind that Keno was gonna come out on top. But hey, you know what? He looked good in losing. Kosei Fujita here.
He's shown exceptional growth in the last year, especially since he stopped being a young lion. I thought it was a fun match. But I'm also a shameless Keno fangirl, so I was like, oh yay, a professional foot stop. But like, I like the fact that Keno didn't seem too bothered to be so low on the card, that he was fine with giving an opportunity to somebody like Vegeta.
Well, you know what? Because he wanted to watch the next match, the Stardom offer match.
Same.
He wanted to watch this, so he said, "I'll go before that, so I can just watch it, not worry about like having to prepare for my match." Okay, so Stardom offer match: Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. So Starlight Kid, she's left the Oedo Tai, kicked out in Cosmic Angels, unofficially.
She's Cosmic Angels adjacent at this point. As far as I know, she hasn't declared that she is in the group, but she is learning the dance moves. She's tagging with everyone. Her costumes are slowly getting brighter and more colorful. But she's also tagged with Empress Nexus V, like Maika and Mina Shirakawa. Mayu, of course, wants her to come back to Stars. So I don't know. Honestly, she should have her own faction or go to Queen's Quest just to make.
No, that's what I want to see. I want to see her finally team with Azumi, because they've been eternal rivals.
Yes.
Both their careers.
Yes, please and thank you.
Well, anyways, Starlight Kid and Natsupoi took on Azumi and Miyu Amasaki. The winner was Starlight Kid, 9 minutes 50 seconds with the star suplex hold on Amasaki. And speaking, maybe we should just save this for the Joshi portion at the second. But also, there's also like some rumblings about maybe someone returning to Queen's Quest in the future. That's been kind of teased. We'll talk about it then. We'll let Karen go through the details on that. Here's the match that I was most anticipating, and the one I thought I enjoyed the most, pretty much, and that's Tomohiro Ishii and Daisuke Sekimoto taking on Jeff Cobb and Masa Kitamiya. Big boys colliding. the beefy match. Ishii wins 13 minutes 15 seconds. I love these match times, Karen. There's no fat on a lot of these matches, So Ishii won following like vertical drops, brainbuster on Jeff Cobb. Wow, he got the big man up for the straight drop brainbuster. Afterwards, Kitamiya's been trying to get after Ishii for a while now, and then he's like, "No, give me a singles match." And then Ishii's like, "Hey, when Geto gets what he wants and gets me a win, then we'll have a singles match." That's how it works in Japan, by the way, folks. Just so you know. Ishii wants a match against Cobb for his World Television title, and Cobb said, "Sure." After I beat Lance Archer, who has no chance of ever winning this fucking belt for me. But there you go. Did they have that match yet, Karen?
I don't think so.
Listen,
if they have, it's been here in the States, but I don't think I feel like I would have heard about it by now.
You probably would have reviewed it.
Probably.
Let me tell you something. No offense to Lance Archer. There's no fucking way they're insane over at New Japan sometimes. There's no way they're insane to like take off the first singles title off Jeff Cobb and give it to Lance Archer. Like, Lance Archer's a good hand. Yeah. That's his role in wrestling now, okay? Whether it's AEW or New Japan.
Yeah. Jeff hasn't had a singles title since he was the Never champion, like years ago.
And you know what? World Television title, higher up on the pecking order these days, thanks to Zach, right?
Correct.
Junior multi-man tag match, El Desperado, Hayata. Has Hayata grown on your radar, Karen, with his rolled up pant leg?
Alas, this is where people are going to get really mad at me. Neither him nor Ninja Mac really inspire me.
There you go.
I know they're very popular. I know they're great wrestlers, but there's a disconnect for me with both of them.
So, Desperado, Hayata, Ninja Mac, Mao from DDT, and Kota Minoura from Dragon Gate, yes, took on Hiromu Takahashi, Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, both from Pro Wrestling Noah, Tetsuya Endo from DDT, and Yamato from Dragon Gate. The fun match. Kota Minoura won via a pinfall on fellow Dragon Gate wrestler Yamato. So politically, no problems here. Hiromu and Yamato want to have a fight with one another. That would be a good match. Are you familiar with Yamato, Karen?
I know he's a chef, or he has like a cooking channel or something.
he's kind of a narcissistic gimmick, and he likes to play with his hair. So I feel he's a very Karen Peterson wrestler.
He is a very handsome man. He's also very talented. He is a junior. He's checking the boxes. He likes to cook because I can't. So hey, I've been told by the Dragon Gate girlies that he's very much Karen coded. So
see, I too am in agreement with the Dragon Gate. What did you call them? The Dragon Gate girlies?
Yes, because I have a lot of female friends that watch the Dragon Gate.
Maybe I know some of them online.
You probably do.
I probably do. I have a feeling I know who you're talking about. But anyways,
you probably do.
Yamato is a very Karen Peterson kind of wrestler. You know who else is? I feel as well. Naruki Doi, but he's not Dragon Gate exclusive. He's like all over the place. You know. Maybe Jackie Funky Kame. Kame is you're kind of a guy too, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with him.
Can you imagine if we started covering fucking Dragon Gate more? You'd be like, I'm giving up this Joshi. It's gonna be called Dragon Gate Karen Monthly from now on. Or something. Anyways.
I am not the gatekeeper of Super Junior Wrestling, I assure you.
Match 6, Taichi and Kai took on Zack Sabre Jr. and Chris Brooks. Taichi won with the ghetto clutch on Chris Brooks, not beating his former teammate, the Dangerous Techers. Have they had a singles match yet? Zack and Taichi.
I don't think they have.
They're saving that, eh?
I think they're saving that for like the G1.
They're saving that
they're saving that for like
they're saving that like for like that match between Alex Shelley and Kushida that never fucking happened. So maybe don't wait too long to do this match.
I mean, honestly, I could see it being a dome match if you really wanted to do something big for the two of them.
Yeah. Could be something big for like, as Taichi's winding down and, and Zack is going up the card even more. It'd be good. Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Yoda LIJC. I got it right this time.
There you go. Well done.
Took on the mixed team of good-looking guys with Bullet Club War Dogs, the good-looking dogs, GLD. How's that? That's a better name than Bullet Club or Bullet Club Gold or whatever is happening in AEW.
Not the Pew Pew Posse or the Bang Bang Gang or whatever.
I like the Bang Bang Gang. That's a better name. I'm glad they quietly dropped Bullet Club Gold because it doesn't make any sense. Like myself, Rich Fan, and Scrump from PWTs, we're the Brap Gang. Oh
no,
that's right. And we're gonna, the three of us are gonna hit a Waffle House one day.
Oh no.
Maybe in Atlanta at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Careful now. That's not what you work and live in Atlanta. Careful now.
Listen, I saw the video from friend of the show, Filthy Tom Waller. Anyways, where am I? Okay, yeah, good looking dogs win thanks to Jake Lee because he pinned Naito using the FBS in 17 minutes 46 seconds, and Jake just wants a singles match with Naito, so he's getting all these wins. You know what that means, Karen? That he's gonna lose that singles match.
Probably
he's gonna lose it. But hey, there you go. It might be a good match, or it might just be kind of middling. It depends, like which Jake we get and which Naito we get. But
do you think we could see someone like Jake Lee in the G1?
Yes.
Or is he too big of a name?
No.
You think they could? Because they run the N1 Victory around that time as well.
They had fucking Kiyomiya skip the N1 to be in the G1, and they jobbed him out. Listen, if they say, "Hey, we want Jake Lee in the G1," we'll get like 2 wins, maybe 1 draw, but he has to lose to everyone else. You think no one's gonna say no? Of course not. They're gonna say yes. Look what they did to Kaito Kiyomiya. Holy fuck! Like they've ruined that guy. They continue to ruin him. We'll talk about that in a second.
Isn't he their champion right now?
He was supposed to be their fucking Okada, Karen.
I know.
It's embarrassing what he is now. It's embarrassing. Anyways, speaking Kaito Kiyomiya, Shota Umino, Kaito Kiyomiya, Yuki Ueno. This is a Karen Peterson team.
This whole match is designed for me because it's against Yu Uemura, Konosuke Takeshita, and Shun Skywalker.
Let's go. You like the mysterious mysterious men in masks like Shin Sayaka.
I'm more of a Despy girl myself, but you know,
Look at that jawline on Shin Skywalker.
Nice jawline.
You know what I'm talking about. Kiyomiya gets a rare win on a fucking New Japan guy. This is where Uemura is like on the totem pole because he had to lose to Kiyomiya, which is unheard of in recent times. 23-18 following Kiyomiya using the modified Shining Wizard, because of course he used a modified Shining Wizard to the guy who originally started ruining his career, Keiji Muto. Takeshita and Skywalker not happy with this result, and they got into a bit of a issue with one another. And there's talks of a singles match between those two, which should be good. And Yuki Ueno went up to Yuya Uemura and said, "Hey, can I get a handshake?" And Uemura said, "Fuck you, no." So they're gonna have a singles match probably on the next one. All right. So the winning trio of Shota, Kaito, and Yuki, they close the show. Karen, guess what happened? You know what happened. Tell people what happened.
We cannot have nice things. That's what happened. Because, of course, Gabe Kidd, the madman himself, shows up, takes my shiny happy boy out, and, held the GHC championship aloft, like you do. And, of course, calling his shot. Yeah.
He took the belt with him.
I have a sad. I'm a very sad girl.
He took the belt with him. I think he might still be in possession of it.
Possession is 9/10 of the law, baby.
So he said he wants a title shot. He lays out Kiyomiya after he's won the GHC title. A New Japan mid-carder lays out fucking Kaito Kiyomiya. He's gonna get the next title shot against him. I think this is the start of a reunion of sorts of the alliance between Keno and Kaito Kiyomiya. And Kiyomiya said, "Yeah, I'm gonna fight you, Gabe." So they're gonna have a singles match for the JC title, but also this is Keno and Kaito Kiyomiya along with a guy named a junior by the name of Alejandro, and a new junior who some people are speculating is the real life brother of Alejandro, Cristobal.
Ooh,
have formed a new faction called All Rebellion, and we'll see where this goes. They're wearing all silver. And what do you think about that?
I'm a huge fan of the white gear, as you know, and I'm so used to Keno being either in signature red or blue flame blue, but silver, it's good look.
It's good. They look good. They look good.
They look very sharp.
I think it's a good idea. I think Kiyomiya really needs
something
bolstering. Especially he used to team with Keno. Yeah. And they've been rivals for a long time, but I think it's good that I hope being aligned with Keno, who's kind of been, remained strong in his booking.
Yeah.
In Noah, can kind of help salvage this kid. And here's the thing, Noah should just say to fucking Bushiroad, we're good. Maybe sometimes we'll do stuff, but you can't have Kiyomiya anymore. We can't have your guys challenging for our belts, especially our top belt. Just please, just do something with this kid. He deserves better than this.
He should have beat Okada, but
yes,
that ship has long sailed.
They should have had a match at fucking Wrestle Kingdom. Just anyways.
Especially since he was already leaving by then. But again, that is neither here nor there. No one listens to me and likes good wrestling.
All right. So coming up on June 9th is a show that you and Bruce Lord will be covering. It's Dominion. One of my favorite events. I've been to it twice, I believe. I definitely maybe just once. I've been to Osaka Joe Hall once. It's a great building. Because you know why? You know what I'm going to say?
Air conditioning?
That's right. It's beautiful. It's amazing. In June, it's so fucking hot.
Yeah.
In Osaka, the
God, it's awful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I've been to concerts in Osaka Joe Hall, so yeah.
It's a beautiful building. Dominion will take place. The main event. This is this is good. I think this is how it should always be.
Correct.
We'll feature the finals of the Best of the Super Junior 31 tournament with finalist El Desperado taking on Taiji Ishimori. We'll talk about our predictions for that as we get to as we run down the card. But the full card is Tetsuya Naito versus Callum Newman. That should be interesting. I don't think Naito is going to lose that match, but I think he'll try to give Newman a nice spotlight to kind of like give him some shine, as it were. Zack Sabre Jr., Robbie Eagles, our good friend Robbie Eagles, coming back, doing more like full tours now. That's great, being on big shows. So Zack, Robbie, and Kosei Fujita will take on the War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and L.J. Cleary. If there's anyone who doesn't belong in this group, it's L.J. Cleary, because he's a very. I always imagine him when he was like in the problematic Irish promotion, whose name I forget, Over the Top, OTP. He always came across as like a very cheerful young man in the wrestling business. But hey, people got to evolve, right? KOPW. Okay. Storm Catch Rules. What does Storm Catch Rules mean, Karen?
You're asking the wrong girl. I just remember that it was a significantly shorter match than what Okan wanted. I think it's just only a maximum of 2 rope breaks. And then after that, it's a disqualification or
So it's a Ring of Honor pure wrestling title rules.
I feels like it, but it has a shorter time. I think there's a time limit.
Okay.
Or it's not the 60-minute or whatever Okan wanted.
Yuya Uemura will take on. He's the current KOPW champion. Will take on challenger Great Okan, who has held it and he wants it back. There you go. Never a 6-man championship match. The 27th champions, Tanahashi, Toriano, and Bolton Oleg from rich fans' favorite part of the world, Russia, taking on Yota Tsuji, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi, a.k.a. Los Ingobernables de Japón. Who do you think is going to win this match?
I feel like they're really pushing Oleg as one of their next big stars. And I really don't think they're going to put the never on Tsuji, Takahashi, and Bushi. I'm still waiting for Hiromu and Bushi to get the junior tag titles together because they've never had it together, apparently. So I just feel like it's either going to be a draw or Bushi's eating the pin.
Well, Bushi's probably going to eat the pin from Mr. Oleg. And yeah, I mean, this is a match that I feel just on paper, it's there. I don't have really too much investment in wanting to watch it.
Strong opinions either way.
New Japan World Television title match. Jeff Cobb taking on Tomohiro Ishii. Second title offense. I'm going to say Jeff retains. I think there's a lot of steam to be had. I think you need to push this guy with this title and get him to the very least to what's the next one after this? The global? The global, right? Is the secondary?
I guess after, because it's kind of on the same level as the Never is right now. Now that Shingo has the Never title again, so yeah, the next step would either be back to the Never, which he's already held, or to going to the global championship.
All right, and so I think Jeff should win. I think he will win. So okay, this I hate these kind of things. IWGP Tag and Strong Openweight Tag Championship 4-way tornado elimination match. Basically, it's a battle royal, it sounds like. Just with partners.
It just sounds like they're trying to fit a whole bunch of people on the card with no clear direction at all.
Inexplicably, the current IWGP Tag Champions, Kenta and Chase Owens, will face the Strong Tag Champions, Hikuleo and El Phantasmo. And they will face also Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, former champions, and as well the team who's never held have they been Strong champions? TMDK?
Yes. They very briefly, but they were
not the IWGP tag titles.
Still not yet. No.
So is it for everything?
I guess so. Like, I don't know if they're what the plan is. I don't know if they're merging them together or
Just
if they're going
them.
Or if
merge them.
they're going to, you know, we're going to talk about the press conference that Tanahashi had, where they're saying that the strong titles are going to be focused on exclusively in America. Then they need to either merge them into the IWGP and call it a day, or stop featuring these belts on this show.
Yeah.
We're circling the drain at this point, and we've done that for the last year with all 4 of these groups.
Listen, for me, like, you either just merge the belts and make the unified champions Hikuleo and El Fantasmo, which I think would be fresh, and they're so popular as a duo, you know, or TMDK. Just fucking pull the trigger, let them have it. You don't need fucking Kenta and Chase Owens as tag champions. You certainly don't need Bishamon to be holding tag titles again, as much as I like them.
They don't need it. I
No.
love them. I'm a huge fan, but they don't need it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say, hey, you know, TMDK are gonna eke out the win, and they're gonna get maybe both sets of tag belts, but if they just get one, just make it the fucking IWGP tag belts, okay? Just give them those.
Thank you. Please and
just
thank
give
you.
Them those. 7th match, never open weight title. Shingo Takagi defending against Hinare. I think this might be one of the highest places, like, on the card that Hinare has had, unfortunately, because, like, I think he should have been, like, a little bit at least at this level, like, a couple of years ago.
Correct.
But you know, good for him. I don't see Takagi losing.
No.
But who knows? But I think Shingo's going to retain. I think there's a lot of steam with him. As you say, you know, with him holding the Never title, it actually elevates that belt.
Correct.
A lot more than, like, having it on, like, whoever else. I won't say any names, but and then God, thank God this is not the main event. Lumberjack rules for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Jon Moxley versus challenger Evil. This is John's 4th title defense. It's gonna be a schmoz, and it's gonna be garbage. I'm telling you that right now. Just the fact that Evil is going to be in it. And Moxley just said, hey, you want to have all your guys outside the ring interfering? Probably. He's like, well, how's that different from any other time you have a match? It's true. It's like, it's just going to be full of shenanigans. I know I'm going to hate watching this match. I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it. Maybe out of morbid curiosity, but I probably will hate it. I predict that you and Bruce are not going to have a positive review for this match.
When we both saw the announcement of the match, and it's hard because, like, you know, he's on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, so, like, trying to time our responses to each other is always a challenge. But I was like, Lumberjack rules match, and I'm like, oh God, what time can I text Bruce and, like, it's considered a respectable hour? Because I was like, and then I came back with, like, does this mean Evil's winning? I really hope not, but at the same time,
I don't see
what are they doing? Like,
well, politically,
why?
And this gets to the press conference, but politically, I do not see Jon Moxley losing to Evil.
I know, but
I see Jon Moxley losing to, I like someone like Naito regaining the belt from him, or one of the guys that, you know, New Japan says to AEW, hey, we really want to push Tsuji. He's going to be our next guy, and, like, him beating Moxley will be a big deal.
Yeah.
If you want to go storyline wise and you want to just try to pull the trigger with Shota Umino, that would make a lot of sense story wise to have him lose.
I thought they were doing that at Resurgence a couple of weeks ago, but they didn't.
You know, that those are, like, Tsuji and Shota Umino are the ones that I would consider, like, beating Moxley, and then Naito possibly. If you know, like, here's the thing, he's the biggest star in AEW, like, you know, and you can't have him lose to like Evil's a mid-carder, you know. This is them throwing him a bone, you know, because they think, you know, Jon Moxley's a brawler, like, he can have Evil's a brawler, not a very good one,
no,
but he's a brawler, so they'll have a fun match. No, they won't.
Honestly, it shouldn't be Evil, it should be David Finlay. David Finlay should be going for this belt at this point, not Evil. It's like it's backwards.
Well, yeah, listen, David's got, you know, to defend his newly regained global title that he should never have lost in the first place.
Correct. Also correct.
But we'll get to that in a sec. And the main event will be Best of Junior 31, the finals of that tournament. El Desperado desperately trying to go for his first Best of Super Junior Championship tournament win. Will take on Taiji Ishimori. I'm predicting Desperado will get the win and get another title shot. Maybe not win it, and then finally become a heavyweight.
Put Despy in the G1, please and thank you.
Yes. We need to see that, folks. Just give him the fucking Best of the Super Juniors. He's already been IWGP Junior Champion. That's all he needs now is just to move up to the G1. And who else should go up? Hiromu.
Yes. I know they're both insistent on staying in the juniors and being pillars of the juniors, but I love them both, but as long as they're there, no one else is going to step up and grow.
No, it's a detriment, and like they need to freshen up their heavyweights, and these guys would bring so much freshness and potentially, and like especially with Hiromu, you could potentially have a new main event star with this guy in the heavyweight division, the heavyweight championship division. Or
let them fight open weight. Put the never belt on one of them. If they're too chicken to let them fight as heavyweights. If El Phantasmo can be a heavyweight, Hiromu can be a heavyweight.
Yes, and so especially El Desperado could be a heavyweight.
Yes.
Anyways, that should be a good show, and Karen and Bruce will have a review of that show soon after it broadcasts at a decent hour for both of them to record.
We're probably going to record we'll be recording on Sunday afternoon-ish.
Let's talk about some upcoming things and this press conference that they had recently. But they're going to have a show, a New Japan Soul show at the Hokai Kitayel in Hokkaido on June 16th. And the main event of that will be David Finlay taking on definitely a Karen Peterson wrestler, Sonata. He's also an Eric Marcotte wrestler for the IWGP Global title. You know what? Sonata could win this belt.
If it frees up Finlay to win the G1 or to win the World Heavyweight Championship, fine. Give Sonata a project that's not tagging with Yuya Uemura. I
think Sonata has a very good chance of winning the global title. And yes, and hopefully that would mean that Dave Finlay is marked for let's go get him higher on the card. Let's get him in that heavyweight title picture. And Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney will defend the IWGP Junior Tag Belts against the TMDK pairing of Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. I like this tandem. I think it's a really good combination. Like Kosei Fujita gets to team with someone with so much experience and skill as Robbie Eagles. I think rub off on him in a very positive way. And Connors and Maloney are a great heel tag team and really great foils for Robbie and with Kosei Fujita. So that's something I'm looking forward to watching. Any thoughts about these two matches?
It'll be good to see Sonata back. I hope whatever kept him off TV the past couple of past month or so is all sorted out. And I look forward to seeing grumpy old man Robbie Eagles trying to chase the war dogs out of his yard. It's like I'm a little sad that Robbie isn't in the finals this year. I'm going to keep my campaign for Robbie winning the Best of the Super Juniors well into next year, apparently. But I think with Kosei Fujita, it's been a great learning experience with him in TMDK between Robbie and Zach and Shane and Mikey. There's so many people that he has the opportunity to work with, and he's really grown very quickly. Compared to Oiwa, who's over in Noah, turning on Kiyomiya, and I don't even know what he's doing anymore.
He's rejecting offers to join Good Looking Guys, was probably the best thing he did, since breaking up with Kiyomiya. But let's move on. Let's talk about this press conference that New Japan president Tanahashi, Bushiroad CEO Takaki Kidani, and New Japan Representative Director Hitoshi Matsumoto. They held this press conference, and Karen, some of the topics they discussed were Dominion, the Soul shows, And interestingly enough, two points that we're going to focus on: Forbidden Door 2024 and the relationship or the perception of the relationship with All Elite Wrestling, as well as Stardom becoming a fully owned subsidiary. And I hate that word, of New Japan Pro Wrestling, not of Bushiroad. But we'll talk about the relationship with AEW. And this is a courtesy of a great article written by Andrew Thompson over at postwrestling.com. Kidani was quoted as saying, we have in translated English, we have a very positive relationship with AEW right now, and there's room for it to evolve further. There are things we can't talk about just yet. But I think it's something that can involve other departments within Bushiroad as well. Okay, just from that paragraph alone, what kind of like inference can you make from that?
I mean, Bushiroad does trading card games. They do like anime stuff. Like they could do a whole kind of merchandise launch. If they were going to work with AEW, they could probably effectively bring AEW over to Japan for a show finally. Much like, WWE's coming back this summer. It could be something on the scale of there could be a New Japan. This is, again, I don't know anything, but Wrestle Kingdom, there could be that instead of New Japan versus Noah, it's New Japan versus AEW. Forbidden Door 3, Super Do Boogaloo, and Tokyo Dome. Who knows? I feel like there's room for something big if it's executed with the full extent of Bushiroad behind it.
So Kadani continues, I think that this relationship has settled into something that's a lot more stable in the long run. And a lot of that comes from Tony Khan having a deep fandom and appreciation for NJPW. He has a lot of passion for 90s guys like Hiroshi Hase and the Steiners. He's a fan, and both he and his father have an incredible business acumen. Well, I think half that statement is true. Tony Khan's father started out making Toyota bumpers and grew his business eightfold in a 10-year span. And the Khans have had all the success, and not just in wrestling, but American football and the Premier League. With that acumen and their affinity for Japan, there's a lot that can be done in the future. And I don't think NJPW could ask for a future owner. I mean, partner right now.
They just need him to stop shit posting on Twitter.
That's right. Having said that, there is a perception that NJPW is treated as a sub-brand or is looked down by AEW. We'll talk about this in a second. Some of that perception of NJPW being behind comes from the economics at the moment. But the truth of the matter is AEW's strengths and NJPW's strengths are different. From development of talent from scratch to historical and traditional perspective. There's a lot NJPW can offer that AEW cannot. So there's a lot that we can do together. And while much of it isn't something we can discuss right now, there's a lot we will do. But the idea that NJPW isn't the inferior partner is not correct. We are absolutely on even footing, and that's something we'll prove in the near future. Break this down for us, Karen. What do you get from this statement?
I feel like I have to choose my words very carefully. Either that or Kadani and Bushiroad has been listening to my rants about Stardom and New Japan and AEW through my New Japan reviews with Bruce. If New Japan truly believes this sentiment, when they send their talent to AEW for shows, their talent needs to be consistently better protected and given more wins than they are afforded on TV. They also need to be better introduced so the fans in the States and abroad who aren't familiar or aren't as dialed in with the international scene as some are, know who these people are and that they care about them and why they should care about them. That the hemming and hawing that there's things we can't discuss about, there's things we can't discuss about. Don't tease it like that, or don't mention it if you're not going to give more than that. Because as someone who's worked in the Japan, public and private sectors, that's just lip service, and it sounds like you're just saying it to appease me or appease the shareholders. You're not giving me anything of substance.
I think, just my own opinion, is that I think AEW is very cognizant of the perception online, on social media, of AEW being the superior partner, AEW having the upper hand when it comes to the political booking of New Japan talent.
Signing away talents.
That's right. Like Moxley is the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Did he need to be? I don't have a problem with that necessarily, but did he need to be? Not necessarily. You could have kept it on Naito and built up one of the young guys to take the belt from him and make that person. If you are going with Moxley as your champion, build it up so that a younger guy, a young native guy from the roster will beat Moxley and bring the belt back to New Japan proper. You know what? It could even be fucking Gabe Kidd. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Does he should be a project. Does he have the strong championship right now?
Well, he's gonna be the future GHC heavyweight champion, maybe. So.
just put the entire Japan Triple Crown on Gabe. Call it a day. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So I think Kidani is kind of. I feel like this is kind of Kidani just like kind of lashing out, saying no. We don't. AW doesn't treat us like how we treated Ring of Honor for a decade. Ring of Honor does like AW doesn't treat us like how we currently treat Pro Wrestling Noah, All Japan Pro Wrestling, DDT, or anyone else.
Hang on 1 second.
Sure. As Karen takes a bit of a break to take care of something, that's my opinion about that. But like I do think this press conference and a lot of Kidani saying these things is him kind of trying to save face to like say, oh no, we're because like here's the thing. The reality is that NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, is currently the little brother to AEW in terms of booking. I really feel they need the AEW more than AEW needs New Japan at this point in time to say that, like it's almost a decade since like the Madison Square Garden show. It's like what the 5 years since AEW formed. To say that this company in America has made New Japan, even though New Japan had a lot of their dealings with like WCW was actually a lot of it was kind of even, because they said, hey, this is a great relationship. We don't need it, but we'll take it. Their relationship, whenever they had relations with the WWF, pretty even, or but this is like one of those instances where I think all elite wrestling has something that New Japan wants, which is a stronger foothold in America.
Yeah,
and they want to bring in AW talent onto their shows and use them like they used to use people like the Steiners and Sting back in the WCW era of the 90s. So it's interesting. It's interesting that they think that this is not a real perception. It is, and I think it's based in reality, but that's my opinion about that.
Like for me, when I think about the relationship between New Japan and AEW in regards to balance, for me, the far better balanced working relationship in the United States for New Japan was when they were working with TNA and Impact. Even though they only did a handful of shows together and they only sent a talent here and there, it always felt like they were more an even playing field. And then with everything that, that's happened in the last few years with, Osprey leaving, Jay leaving, Okada leaving, Rocky getting promoted to a managerial position, executive position in AEW. It's you don't want your company to be perceived as a pipeline, but when your partner is like sieving off all of your top talent or your crucial staffers that were responsible for building the relationship within America, it's kind of hard not to feel that way. It almost sounds like the lady doth protest too much.
It's interesting. Like you mentioned Osprey, Jay White, Rocky Romero. They all left in New Japan. Where do they go? AEW. And outside of Osprey, like most of the people who leave New Japan to go to AEW don't really get pushed very strongly. Osprey is an exception because it's Will Ospreay and Okada. Yeah. Okay. So those are two exceptions. Okay. Jay White is not where he should be It seems like he's getting there slowly.
He should be champion by now. And I mean, like, AEW champion by now.
He should not have been treated the way MJF treated him in their match. Yeah. But if you look at it, it's interesting because if you look at a guy who didn't have as much prospects as Jay White, Tama Tonga, he went to the WWE instead, and he is in the top feud, the top program on that brand, outside of Cody, anything Cody Rhodes is doing with the title is the Bloodline. He is, and it's gonna get hotter when Roman Reigns comes back, and him and fucking Tangaloa are gonna be inserted in the hottest program, probably after SummerSlam or maybe leading into SummerSlam of that fucking company, particularly on SmackDown, of course. Because Roman's gonna be fucking coming back. He's gonna be the biggest fucking star when he comes back after a long absence. And Tama Tonga could call up Jay White and say, "Bro, what are you doing? Teaming up with Billy Gunn's kids? I'm in the fucking Bloodline. I'm gonna be feuding with fucking Roman Reigns."
And that's within 2 months of leaving New Japan.
Yeah,
the both of them are arguably like catapulted. Are they the main character in that storyline right now? No, but they're there.
Tama Tonga is Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa is set to become a top line heel.
Yeah.
And he's gonna feud with Roman. And probably he's probably gonna be Roman. And who's gonna be by his side is fucking Tama Tonga and fucking Tangaloa, right? And they're gonna feud with Randy Orton, they're gonna feud with Kevin Owens, they're gonna feud with Cody, you know. Like, and then what's Jay doing? Like, I mean, like, I think Jay teaming with the Guns, actually, I think it's a great idea. I like the Bang Bang Gang inexplicably. I think it's a good act. But he's not, like, if he went to WWE, I think he would be in a similar position, if not higher than Tama Tonga is in the company right now. It's amazing. But
he'd be feuding with Cody for the belt.
Yes, probably. Anyways, it's interesting to see like New Japan talent that the WWE wants and actually gets, how they're pushed. Like, I think, ultimately Ospreay is very happy, and he's I don't, in the sense I don't like the way he's booked. Is like he does too much on free television.
Yeah,
he needs to like scale it back, and then he's traveling. And I don't think traveling between the United Kingdom and the United States constantly is helping his longevity in the ring. Personally, that's my opinion. You can't have a super match on Collision all the time, or on Dynamite all the time. You get to have a good match. You don't have like a quote unquote 7-star match on these shows. Like, save it for the pay-per-view, dude. It's called a bump card.
I feel like he's in a tough spot only because, with the bigger names that are on the either, they're out on medical, or they're, they're winding their careers down, like, with Kenny and Danielson, and those, like, I feel like Ospreay is overcompensating for the people that are not able to be on TV regularly right now. And he's so programmed to wrestle the way he wrestles because that's all he's done. He's used to being the showstopper every single night on every teeny tiny gym throughout Japan. But I don't think he's realized that you don't have to do that on American TV. Like, make the fans wait for it. Because then it feels more special when he pulls all the stops out.
Yeah, I mean, AEW's business is predicated on TV ratings, of course, and they want to get a new television deal, which, the current deal with Warner Brothers Discovery is set to renew, and they want to be in a better position. And I feel Will Ospreay is probably someone that, they rely on to, like, hey, try to bump up the ratings. But, if I'm Will Ospreay, I'm saying, hey, dude, maybe you should like better book everything around me as well. It'll be interesting. My kind of litmus test for Ospreay is when he gets programmed with MJF, like how that's booked, because I think that'll be the litmus test of like what Tony Khan thinks of Ospreay. If he gets the Jay White treatment, we know where Tony Khan places Ospreay in relationship to MJF. There's no fucking way MJF should get the better of Will Ospreay because he's not on his level as I'm gonna say, not only in the ring but as a promo, because Will Ospreay actually, I think his character now is such that he's genuinely like heartfelt and believable, whereas MJF is like a complete cartoon buffoon character in my opinion. And like there's no way, if I'm Tony Khan, I would fucking book MJF to get any kind of like have a program, sure, and have back and forth, but in the long run, the end of that feud, Will Ospreay has to be the guy standing over MJF. And like, and it should be clear, this guy's our top guy going when Kenny Omega is not available anymore. And I honestly, I've my doubts of like how long he has left. And then Ospreay has to be the guy because Daniels is going to retire soon. And who else? Like John Moxley can't, he's up in the mix, but he can't be that guy that they want to build like, Tony's fetish for like 7-star matches around, right? It's going to be Ospreay. So it'll be interesting, Karen. It'll be interesting. Let's move on. Let's kind of run through Noah. So big news there is Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Dr. Wagner Jr. for the GHC heavyweight title at Wrestle Magic on May 4th at Sumo Hall. Good match. I enjoyed it. At the time, I kind of just questioned that Wagner should have lost. I would have kept the belt on him, especially considering Kiyomiya then gets laid out later, by Gabe Kidd. He's constantly being like, he's not being booked very well, even as champion. Like, I think, like, again, hopefully aligning with Keno is going to help him. We'll see. But, I'm not hopeful. I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful, but I'm not optimistic about Kiyomiya's, 2024 going into this. I hope they learned and they do not book him in the G1. They don't let him go into the G1. They say, no. Jake Lee, yes, it's fine. He's not the champion.
Unless Kiyomiya is winning the G1, don't put him in the G1.
No. But, that's kind of really the big news from there, outside of like they did form a new faction, All Rebellion. I mean, outside of that, they're having, their shows. They're okay. Like I can't watch a full Noah show. I can't watch a full anything show these days, but they have like, some interesting, talents in there. But let's talk about very quickly an upcoming show that they're going to have. I forget the date of this. Oh my God, I forgot to write the date of this show coming up. Pro Wrestling Noah will have a show coming up. I can't believe this. I'm so embarrassed. LJ Cleary will take on Ninja Back and Super Crazy in a 3-way match. Wrestle Universe Joshi match, Takumi Iroha will take on the Great Sakuya. What do you think about the Great Sakuya? I'm not very impressed, to be honest with you.
If the wrestler who has been transformed into the Great Sakuya is who I think they are still have a relatively short career. And I think they usually wrestle as a babyface, so I feel like they're still figuring out the character. But I think they're also in a hard place because I feel like they want Muda but make it female, and which means she's really pigeonholed into what kind of character she can create. Yeah.
GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Daga, the current champion, will take on Starboy Charlie, who is an independent wrestler from the States. Have you seen Starboy Charlie, Karen? Have you seen what this fucking guy wears? All right, imagine
he's wearing like overalls.
Yes, shorts, overalls, like he's fucking Spike Dudley. Okay, I mean, I think he'll win because they'll put this belt on any fucking guy that comes over from America. Almost like they put it on some fucking some GCW fucking guy. I forget his name, but he looked like shit. He looked like warmed over Mikey Ripwreck when he was teaming with Tajiri. Terrible. They'll probably put this fucking belt on Starboy Charlie. And listen, Starboy Charlie, if you're listening to this, listen, just fucking get new gear, okay, dude? The Denim Dragon, that's your fucking nickname? Oh my God, that's like a mid-card. You should be fighting for the fucking Hog Championship or some shit, not the fucking GHC Junior Heavyweight title. But he'll probably win it. Good looking guys, your boys, Jack Morris and Anthony Green, Karen. Well, one of them is your boy, right? The current champions will take on Naomichi Marufuji and Takashi Sugiura. I think Marufuji and Sugiura might win these belts. I think GLG have held it for quite a while now. GLG 6-man tag match in the semi-main event. Jake Lee, Yohei, and Tadasuke taking on All Rebellion. Keno, Alejandro, and Cristobal. That should be good. Kaito Kiyomiya versus Gabe Kidd for the GHC Heavyweight Championship. And Gabe Kidd has a very, very good chance, 50-50 chance of defeating Kiyomiya, because that's how they like to book Kiyomiya, as a loser to people from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
2024 is wild, man. I don't even know what to say.
Let's move on. All Japan Pro Wrestling. We talked a bit about the 2024 Champions Carnival tournament. I watched the finals of that since we last talked, Karen. And Kento Miyahara went into the finals. He won the Champions Carnival by defeating one of the Saito brothers, Jun Saito, the one who's doesn't eat too many sweets, too many empty carbs. On May 12th at Yokohama Buntai. And by doing this, he secured a Triple Crown title match against Yuma Anzai at the May 29th Korakuen Hall show, which we will talk about. That was called the Super Power Series show. And let's quickly go over that show. Shotaro Ishino and Ren Ayabe. I kind of like this team. I would like to see them team more. Took on Hokuto Omori and Kuma Arashi. Black Storm, Kuma Arashi. No, Bear Storm.
Bear Storm.
Or no, Kuro would be black. Kuma
Correct.
Arashi, Bear Storm. I would love this guy to go in America and just like, what's your name? Kuma Arashi. Okay, is there an English translation of that?
Bear Storm.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, Ayabe won. Following the death roulette on Hokuto Omori, who seems to be like really in the doghouse. He's not been booked very well in this company recently. The All Japan Television 6-person tag championship match because it's intergender. The 7th champions, Suwama, Mayumi Ozaki, and Maya Yukihi took on the challengers of Hideki Suzuki and Zones and Chichi, who are part of Evo Girls, which is the thing that Suwama started, but he's betrayed Evo Girls to team with Ozaki and Yukihi, who are like from Oz Academy and like other indies.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ozaki is basically everybody's One-sama. Like, she's like, because she's such a like big veteran in the Joshi scene, it's like he kind of has to in order to get his fledgling Joshi promotion off the ground.
Maya Yukihi won in 11 minutes 40 seconds with the wheel wind on Zones. I say this about Maya Yukihi. I love when they do her announcement, the way she like poses. It's very cool. I like it a lot. Yuma Aoyagi took on the man I hate the most in any Japanese promotion, Kuroshio, Tokyo, Japan. Kuroshio won. Jesus Christ. Following the Ikemen Slash. This is basically a combat match, Karen. It was terrible. And, but Yuma, I think, is like in a point where, like, in this feud, he just wants to have fun. He doesn't care because, like, he knows he could get back into the main event scene. And Jiro will just be where he is right now. That's the lower mid card. Rising Hayato, Seigo Tachibana, Musashi, and Seiki Yoshioka. Seiki Yoshioka in All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Let's go!
He's in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and they took on Dan Tamura, Hikaru Sato, Naruki Doi, and Fuminori Abe. Very fun match. 11 minutes 58 seconds. Fuminori Abe wins with an Omanji Gatame on Hayato, and then with this win, he will challenge Hayato for the World Junior Heavyweight title, which I think he will win and should win, because I think Fuminori Abe as World Junior Heavyweight Champion in All Japan will be a very, very, very fun time. Match I actually skipped because EC3 is defending his NWA World Heavyweight title against Ryuki Honda.
I didn't even know.
EC3 won. Who cares? I didn't watch it. And EC3 stated, "Hey, I want to come back here, and I'm aiming for the top of All Japan. Please don't book him again. He looked terrible." From what I've been told, I didn't actually watch the match. World Tag Team Championship match. The 99th World Tag Champions, Karen, Jun and Rei Saito took on the end. Odin-san and Paro. Basically, these guys haven't been booked since like the beginning of the pandemic or the during the pandemic, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
And the only reason they're here is because Jun and Rei Saito are big boys. Odin-san and Paro are also big boys.
They're
so they
massive.
They needed the Saito brothers to get a big win on a Gaikokujin big boy team, and that's what they did. Jun won in 11 minutes 56 seconds. That's about like 5 minutes longer than I would have had this match be. Pardon me for following the doom on the end. This is their first successful title defense of this particular reign. Ray has been telling Jun, you can't eat any sweets, but because of this win, that was lifted. The seal on the sweets has been lifted.
The embargo.
That's right. The Saito brothers said, hey, we want to get all the belts in all Japan, but then they said, well, we're over 105 kilograms, so we can't go for the world junior belt. But who comes out and says, hey, I can go for that belt and I like to team with you guys? But former Dragon Gate mainstay Naruki Doi. So they're gonna form a faction, the Saito brothers with Naruki Doi. That's kind of interesting. We'll see what they do with this faction. We'll see kind of like multi-man tag matches they can have. Maybe they'll be good. Maybe not. We'll see. And finally, our main event for the Triple Crown, excuse me, Heavyweight Championship. Current champion and one of my favorite wrestlers right now to watch in Japan in any promotion, Yuma Anzai, took on Kento Miyahara, and they had a war, Karen. And sorry, everyone, just forgive me. I have allergies, so sometimes I get a little coffee.
You're still muted.
So Anzai had an awesome match with Kento Miyahara, and I'll say this about Kento, like he can, kind of delve into a formula. But when he's serious, there's few better than Kento Miyahara in having a main event match. And at 26-48 minutes, Anzai wins following the gimlet, and like just watch this. I was actually talking to John Pollock about this, and just we both love Yuma Anzai. We love his Jumbo Tsuruta style knees. We love the fact that he uses Misawa's face lock as a potential finisher. I'm just so high on this kid. And you look at Yuma Anzai, and then you look at Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, and you think that's what they should be doing with these guys. Just putting the rocket on them. And it's working for All Japan because they drew a near sellout at Korakuen Hall for this show. So, people want to see stars emerge and then follow those stars for several years. And then when it's time for new stars to be created, those established stars should start making the new stars. Kento Miyahara made this guy with this match. I think this was a better showcase for Anzai. It established him better as the guy right now by beating the ace of All Japan, the guy who's been the ace for the last 12 years, maybe 15 years. I'm very high on Anzai, and I think they're trying to form a faction, kind of a new version of the Super Generation Army with Anzai, Riki Honda, Rising Hayato, and Ren Ayabe. The only thing I would do is I wouldn't put Ayabe in there. If you want to recreate something like the Super Generation Army with the current crop you have, like in terms of booking and stuff, like I actually would make Kento Miyahara the Jumbo Tsuruta role, and have him being the guys like, no, I'm still fucking relevant, and you're gonna bypass me for these young punks, my fucking kohais, fuck you. And then he just gets pissed off, and and I think Ren Ayabe and Kento Miyahara as a tag team has a lot of potential. And Ren Ayabe could be like, if Kento is Jumbo Tsuruta, then Ren Ayabe could be his Akira Taue. And if you've ever watched 90s All Japan, and if you've seen the Tsuruta gun tandem of Jumbo Tsuruta with his young protege and Akira Taue, oh my god, they're so good because of the senpai kohai dynamic, and they're taking on
senpai kohai dynamic.
there's a lot of things you could do with that, and I think that's something like, and I was saying, that this is like what I would book is like you could draw pretty good crowds for the level that All Japan is, right? Like you could draw pretty 2,000 level, then 1,000, 2,000 level people level, which is it's just fine. Like that's where they are. They don't and grow from there. Like there's potential because Anzai, Riki Honda, Ren Ayabe, and even I would say Shotaro Ishino, and then like Rising Hayato, brain fart, Atsuki Aoyagi as juniors. There's a lot of growth there. Like, and they can lead this company for the next 5 years minimum, even longer.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but I really need New Japan and Noah to see what they're doing with the guys in All Japan and do that.
Yes.
Because as great as it is to have your old reliables are all broken down and tired. And if you want us to believe that the new generation, the company will be fine once these guys retire, you need your time. The clock's ticking at this point.
Anyways, next challenger for Yuma Anzai is Hideki Suzuki. And that should be a fun match. And yeah, so as we talked briefly at the beginning of the show, Karen, like altogether did not have any All Japan involvement. Well, the June 15th All Together show in Sapporo will have Kento Miyahara on that show, and he will team with Naomi Shimarafuji and Hiroshi Tanahashi take on Sonata, Taichi, and Uemura. So
match made for me.
Just 5 guys with the Shacho and Ace, or the Aces. Maybe that's what they're gonna call it. But that should be a fun match. And yeah, Kento getting in there with guys like Sonata and Taichi, both former All Japan guys. They both started in the All Japan dojo at various points in that company's career history. So that should be good. Any final thoughts before we move on to the Joshi segment of the show, Karen?
Nope.
All right,
and there was more time in the day to watch wrestling.
Yes, not all of it. Not all of it is necessary to watch. So we are now in the Dream Slam monthly portion of Post Presents, which is I think what we're gonna do from now on is kind of like divide the shows, and like it's now Karen's turn to lead the show.
All right. So in the month of May, probably the 2 biggest shows that everyone's talking about is that, Dreamstar Marigold had their first show. They had their inaugural show on the 20th called Marigold Fields Forever. From that show, Nanae Takahashi defeated Victoria Yuzuki. Miku Ano defeated Naoi Ishikawa. Mirai defeated Chiaki, and I highly recommend that match. It was a good match. Mai Sakurai and Zeta Steel went to a time limit draw against Nagisa Nozaki and Mila Grace, and that Zeta and Mila both were making their Japan debuts, I believe. Chikagoto and Koki Amare defeated Misa Matsui and Natsumi Shozuki, and all 4 of those girls came over from Actress Girls, and it was Amare and Goto's formal wrestling debuts, because Actress tends to do more on the idol stage dance or stage wrestling style as opposed to proper professional wrestling. So they were considering this their actual wrestling debut. And then the main event was Bozilla and Suri defeating Julia and Utami Hayashishita, which was 28 minutes and 6 seconds. I recommend that match. You see Julia get dumped on her head a lot in this match. And unfortunately, it led to her getting a fracture in her wrist that required her to get surgery. So there's no formal time return table has been announced yet. However, she's been going to all the Marigold Road shows during their opening Wars series that they've been having right now. She's been doing meet and greets. She's been greeting the audience at every single show. But she and Suri are supposed to have a special singles match at the company's first big show of the summer, which will be Marigold Summer Destiny 2024 at Ryogo Kusumo Hall on July 13th. As far as we know, it's still proceeding as scheduled, but I guess it all depends on how her wrist heals up between now and then. And then there is a for all the details and all my thoughts on this entire show and where the future of the company looks like, there is a full report over at postwrestling.com.
So I watched the Mirai match because of your review, and I really liked it. I'm very high on Mirai.
Yeah.
I've been high on her since she was in Stardom and in God's Eye, because they really pushed her really strong, and I think they're gonna do the same here. I think for me, like Julia, Utami, and Mirai are the three wrestlers that Rasuga was probably gonna focus the company around in the first, kind of first several years of this company.
Yeah.
So say Julia isn't medically cleared to face Sari at the Ryugoku show in July. I would assume that either it's Utami or it's going to be Mirai taking her place in that match. And I would think that probably Utami is the better candidate to fill in. And you can always build up to when Julia is medically cleared to another big show with her and Sari. But I really feel that, Sari is going to be a kind of a staple in Marigold and potentially could even become the first champion.
I have a feeling that she and Nagisa Nozaki, who's also is a freelancer, but was also on the Noah shows. I think that we'll be seeing a lot of them circulating in the near future. I personally like to see Mirai go against Suri because I think their styles complement each other more. But
I'd be happy with that too. I mean, like it's amazing to see like Sarai like just go back to what made her someone that NXT wanted, and they brought her over and they totally destroyed her, giving her stupid like racist gimmicks, to accommodate whoever had some kind of schoolgirl fetish in that company.
I love being a magical girl as well. However, it just was really weird seeing it on American TV.
But not surprising considering it's the WWE. What else have we got here, Karen?
As a result of Julia getting injured, she unfortunately had to miss the Hana Kimura Memorial Show, which was later in the week on the 23rd. It was our 4th celebration without Hana Kimura in the world, and it's just the world just seems like a darker place ever since that day happened. The show felt scaled down a bit compared to previous years, but many of the regular participants were on the show, which is always a good time. I could tell that Julia was very heartbroken that she couldn't wrestle Venny in the main event on the show as planned, because this was the first time that Julia was able to participate on the show since Hana's passing. She every previous year there was always a Stardom show or a show conflict, or she wasn't able to participate. And then the main event itself, like even the video package for the main event focused a lot more on Hana and Julia's rivalry with each other when Julia joined Stardom in 2019. Like it started playing and I just cried through the whole entire thing until the match happened. And it was like, you could tell that, even though she was there seconding Utami and Utami, stepped in at the last minute, you could tell that Julia was visibly crushed that this was the one thing she was looking forward to doing, to finally have her moment with Hana, to say not let her go, but just be like, hey, are you still watching over me? And it didn't get to happen because her wrist is a bit busted up right now. I don't know, we don't know what Julia's future is. We don't know how long she's going to be with Marigold, because there is the sniffings that WWE is knocking at her door. But I hope that whatever the outcome is, if she's still in Marigold by this time next year, or if she goes to the WWE or anywhere else by this time next year, that they at least let her come back for this one show, just so she can have that bit of closure. But that's like the selfish part of me talking. But the show was an emotional one. It always is. But that one, I don't have any particular one match recommendation. I always feel like when the Hana Kimura Memorial Show comes around, that you have to watch it as a whole to experience the entire scope of all the different kinds of people who were parts of her life. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch this show. To be honest, I didn't feel like I saw that much social media engagement about it. Unfortunately, I do feel year
less compared to previous years.
Like year after year, it seems like maybe there's less interest in the show. I do think though, if Marigold and Rasugawa want to like be more involved with it, and if Marigold is continuing on the path that they're on, and they become quite, and I think they will. I think they're going to become quite a force in Japanese wrestling over the next year. That by this time next year, when next time you have the next Hana Kimura show, Memorial Show, that if they say, well, there's a lot of heavy Marigold presence on it,
Yeah.
and Julia is able to do a match on it, that it'll bring engagement with the Memorial Show higher, because like Stardom was I felt very resistant about being involved with that the shows in general.
Yeah,
But
they would let like 1 or 2 or 3 wrestlers participate on it. Like, Shuri's been on it, Konami's been on it, Natsupoi was on it this year, Reno is on it, but it's always despite Stardom being the place that Hana was when she passed away, Stardom seems to consistently have a show planned that same day or that same weekend where they can't throw the whole roster on the show just because it's a charity show. It's not like they're turning, they're not selling out the Tokyo Dome for a massive profit. It's to help a non-profit. So, I mean, yeah, I just don't want it to be made political, now that, Rossi has his own promotion and Stardom, they seem to have they haven't mended any fences yet, but it shouldn't be about either company. It should be about Hana's memory and the family.
And finally, there's going to be a big crossover show that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so in the press conference that my favorite president, Hiroshi Tanahashi, had, he discussed Stardom becoming a fully owned subsidiary of New Japan starting on June 28th. Also from the article that Andrew Thompson wrote, he put a quote in there that said, "We announced before that Stardom will become a fully owned subsidiary of New Japan as of the end of June. You'll see improved operating efficiency between the two companies, as well as improved scheduling, cross-promotion, and more Stardom wrestlers competing in New Japan in the near future as we work to grow both promotions. There will also be a crossover event to come later this year with more details to be announced very soon." I mean, I still refuse to accept people calling Stardom now New Japan's women's division. I want them to still be their own entity. But it seems like just like, not AEW, sorry, WWE and UFC merging into TKO, that they're going to start streamlining the back side of the company, meaning people are probably going to lose their jobs, which kind of sucks. But if they're going to start promoting Stardom on the same level that they do with New Japan, meaning bilingual commentary and more information released to the public in translation or in a fully English website, great. I've been waiting for a second historic crossover to come down the pipes. If they do, all I ask is for Hiromu Takahashi and Azumi versus Starlight Kid and El Desperado. That's the only match I want. You can do whatever you want with the rest of the card. Just give me that one match. That's all I want. And on June 28th is when they'll assume the ownership of Stardom. And the week before, Stardom's last big show is actually named Stardom The Conversion in all caps. I don't know how I feel about that. They haven't announced any, or they've announced a full card actually. Or at least several matches for it. They have Micah defending the World of Stardom Championship against Cena in a E-Nexus V all ENV main event. Wonder of Stardom Championship. Saori Ano is going to defend against Sendai Girls as Mika Iwata. Let's go. That might be worth the price of admission alone, honestly. And then there is going to be a Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship match between the current champion Goddesses of Stardom, which is Hazuki and Koguma, against Hanan and Saida. The rest of the card is to be announced. Go ahead.
Oh, so I'm with you. I don't like the connotations of Stardom, the conversion into what? New Japan's women's division, because everything Tanahashi said in that translated quote makes me very pessimistic.
Yeah.
Why not say, hey, we're gonna have some New Japan talent on Stardom shows? No, it's like, yeah, we're gonna poach some talent from Stardom to be on our shows because it's now our women's division, because that's how they look at it. It's like it's not as holy. And they keep saying it's gonna be up, and it's not. They don't use words like partner. They don't use anything that amounts to equality. It's subsidiary. They're going to be wholly owned by us, and I don't like that, because it's a loss of history. It's a loss of something that grew independent of Bushiroad and New Japan. And sure, of course, having the backing of both, of course there was growth. But you know what? They someone who got into them years before Bushiroad started sniffing, and just whenever I could on the show say, shit, I think Stardom is the best wrestling in Japan at the time.
Yeah.
And the best booked. And when Bushiroad took over, gradually, slowly but surely, the booking went out the window, because they had to serve a different master.
Yeah.
They had to serve the perception hey, you're not better than us. That's a philosophy that went into the way Stardom has been booked for the last several years. And hey, we're gonna just book you we're just gonna make money off you. We just want to get as much money we don't care about your talent and the injuries they suffer because of the stupid schedule that we've imposed on you now. And and the alienation of longtime fans from wanting to, because now not only do you have to pay for Stardom World, you have to pay pay-per-view prices, and these shows take forever to go on to Stardom World or never show up.
Yeah.
And that is a degradation of the fandom that this company built.
And that's the frustrating thing, is that if you're going to assume control over Stardom, then ditch Stardom World, move everything over to New Japan World, rebrand it, make it a better platform. I'm looking at you, Kadani, because I know you talked about it in your little part of this. But make it feel like you're not going to strip everything out of Stardom that made it Stardom to begin with. And the thing is that New Japan fans and Stardom fans are kind of like a Venn diagram. There is a bit of overlap in the center, but it's not a complete. Not every Stardom fan likes New Japan. Not every New Japan fan likes Stardom. I feel like they're trying to smash a square peg into a round hole, and it's Stardom is the one that's going to benefit the least at this point. If you were to give me a plan, these are what we have planned to ensure that Stardom isn't changing that much, great. But when you say that you're going to incorporate them onto and compete in a New Japan ring, does that mean you're going to start putting them on New Japan Strong more? Or is it we're going to have a 12-match pay-per-view card? Are Stardom pay-per-views not going to be on, a ticket basis? Or is it be like New Japan where it's included in the $10 a month you pay? Those are the kinds of things I want to know. It's and also, is it all of a sudden is the IWGP going to supersede all of the Stardom belts? How much of Stardom is going to be left in Stardom once New Japan takes over on the 28th?
And if what we're fearing happens, well, how many people are going to leave?
Talent wise or fan wise?
No, both. I think
I struggle. I've been struggling for pretty much since Mayu wasn't allowed to have a match at the Dome. Since January, I've been struggling to be a Stardom fan at times.
I feel like someone let's talk about Mayu Iwatani. I feel Mayu Iwatani, if she's seeing something that she's been part of since the beginning of her career, she's she's been with Stardom pretty much day one, and she's helped grow the company. The last 7 years, 10 years, you could argue, built on her back, along with before Kairi, and of course definitely Io Shirai. But and to see that go from something that was independent and growing on its own to now slowly but becoming marginalized within like a larger New Japan over, infrastructure,
Yeah.
or, and then seeing like, what did I work all this time for? Like, I don't want to be a subsidiary of some fucking
Yeah.
company, like, and then like, and if Marigold, parallel to that, if Marigold is gaining traction, selling out crowds, building attendance record, like not attendance records, but building like steady attendance at shows,
Yeah.
and drawing fans away from Stardom, which I think is happening. Then who's to say, like, Mario Tanah's like, hey, my contract's up, I'm not re-signing with you guys, because obviously Rasugawa has backers to, pay wrestlers who don't want to be part of New Japan Pro Wrestling because they're not going to be featured on cards as high as they used to be when Stardom was independent. And I think you're going to see a dramatic shift in the Joshi landscape where Rasugawa is going to be, I predict that Rasugawa is going to have the last laugh, and he can go onto Twitter. He probably won't go onto Twitter and say, fuck you, Tony Gunn. You want Juliet? Fuck you.
Ross he's just a little old man in a hat that just stays in his lane, keeps his mouth shut, like he minds his business. But honestly, depending on when Mayu's contract is up, if I were to shortlist who I could see leaving Stardom in the next year, she's at the top of it.
Yeah,
because even her work in the championship picture since 2020, late 2022, has been around the IWGP Women's Championship, whether it was the tournament against Kairi or, eventually beating Monet for the belt, or, going to New Japan Strong to defend the belt. There's nothing left in Stardom for Mayu to do other than take over as the booker of Stardom. But I don't think she's ready to retire yet.
No. No, probably not.
Yeah. But other than that, other news, parroting off of the Forbidden Door that's at the end of the month on the 30th. Don't get your hopes up for 28 Stardom matches, because Stardom is running a show in Shinjuku that same day. Time zones are a thing. There's no rabbit hole that they can shoot somebody through to show up. Mina Shirakawa is probably as much as we're going to get on Forbidden Door from someone who is in Stardom proper, as she's challenging Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. However, Mercedes Moné, who is the current AEW TBS championship, is having a title versus title match against New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer. For those who have followed the very short lineage of the purple belt, Moné previously beat Vaquer at Resurgence in the inaugural New Japan Strong Women's Championship tournament to face Willow Nightingale, and that was the match where she hurt her ankle and it was gone for almost a year. She beat Vaquer in that match, so this will be their second meeting. Other thing for Stardom is that the 5-Star Grand Prix is in August, like everything else in August, and it'll run August 10th through the 31st, and this is a significantly shorter schedule compared to previous years. Previous years it started mid to late July and would go to the end of September. I think, yes, they've given a lot of thought into the injuries, especially that they've had in the last year with people having to drop out. But my whole thing is that you can have a great tournament, but you don't need every single wrestler in the tournament. Be more judicious about how many people you put in your tournaments. And that goes double for the G1.
14 people.
Keep it tidy. I know we want all our faves on all the shows, but
or 16 people, 8 to a block.
It's just a lot. So for those who want more Joshi information, because there's a whole lot of stuff going on all over the world, Dream Slam Monthly Volume 17, May 24 is currently available at postwrestling.com. And Volume 18th, June 24, will be scheduled for June 29th. And I think shortly after that, we'll be recording the July edition of Post ProRes. Other than that, what have you got?
Well, before we wrap things up, Karen, you and I have been cordially invited to be part of a special charity show hosted by one great friend of mine, Martin Bushby. What is this thing that we're going to be part of, Karen?
All right, so a couple of years ago, him and Benno did a 24-hour charity stream. This year, it's been cut in half. It's only 12 hours. But this time around, it is benefiting the Maddy Cusack Foundation, which helps young girls and women in sports in the UK. It is going to be August 29th. It's Saturday, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. British Standard Time. But for us here on the East Coast, it'll be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. WH and I are going to be slotted in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to listen in and hear us talk about 3 match selections for one Kazuchika Okada and 3 match selections for Julia, I've already told them my picks for Julia, so it'd be fun to talk to Martin about that. Other guests include Post Wrestling's Wei Ting, WrestleNomics Brandon Thurston, my buddy Bruce Lord, our friends over at Poison Rana, Must See Matches Grapple, Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, and many, many, many more talented names in the wrestling sphere. The crowdfunding page is available now, so I'll probably tweet it out. But yeah, open your hearts and your wallets. It's for a good cause.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Karen and I have been on Martin's charity streams before. They're fun to do. It's always good to talk to Martin. And this is Sans Benno, I believe.
Alas, I don't think Benno is on the show this year.
But maybe no Grapple. So maybe
yeah,
but he's not hosting it.
He's not hosting it. I think his computer got nuked last time.
It did. He talked about it. Maybe Richard Avian will be helping because he is part of Martin's Eagles Don't Hunt Fly show. Maybe we'll get the host of that.
Lads.
You know, we'll get Martin with Dickie and Brandon from New Jersey, and they'll be the host of this charity stream, and it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to talking with whoever, you know, you, Martin, and whoever else might be on our slot. Should be fun. But I'm looking forward to that. And yes, please go to the crowdfunder page. You'll see the link in the show description, and please donate. And I'll be making my own donation, of course. And with that being said, if you want to donate to help support Post Perez, Karen has her Empress t-shirt, a very hot seller among the Post Wrestling faithful.
That's the rumor anyway.
and I know John Cena has like 7 of them. No, he doesn't. He's got at least one.
He's got one.
He's got one. But that's at choptees.com. Look for, you know, Karen. I believe you have your own brand page. Do you not?
I do. I have my own page that is separate from Post Pro Wrestling.
So that's okay. I'm under the Post Wrestling banner, so that's good. But you can find MCU Later, very good seller. Post Perez, good seller. But of course, either the 4 Pillars or the 5 Pillars branded apparel, very good sellers, excellent sellers. I still get we're trying to get some, you know Daniel Makabe, independent Canadian wrestler who's going to be hanging his boots up soon. He got one. He looks good in it. He told me, WH, this thing is comfortable. You know where he told me that, Karen? On the Long and Winding Railroad, which we just did. He and I just did an episode. We did the one last week. So go check that out. We talked about Tsuyoshi Kikuchi and Kenta Kobashi from May of 1992 taking on the Can-Am Express, Dan Crawford and Doug Furness. Have you ever seen this match, Karen? It's from Sendai.
I have not, nor have I ever been to Sendai. It's on my list.
It is one of the greatest pro wrestling crowds you'll ever see. You can see the link to the match on Daily Motion if you go to the show description. I think you'll like it. And here's the thing: you don't need to know this backstory. It's for the All Asia Tag Team titles, and that's the only story you need. And all you gotta know is that Kikuchi is from Sendai. That's all you need to know. But you know what, Karen? You understand Japanese very well.
I'm all right.
You can listen to the announcers talk about the story of the match, and you can follow along easily. So, I highly recommend this match. It's actually very, it's not too long. It's a perfect length, I think, and it flows so well. So I think you watch it, and you let me know what you think. And of course, after you watch it, Karen, go listen to myself and Daniel Makabe. Never listen to Togi, by the way. You go listen to us talk about wax poetically about the grumpy Tsuyoshi Kikuchi, even when he was in his late 20s. But that's it for me. Dreamsland Monthly. Karen is always doing great stuff on the written word, with the written word over at postwrestling.com. MCU Later, and she'll be on MCU Later to talk about the Wolverine, the one set in Japan, of course.
Of course.
The one with I think at least half the movie is Hugh Jackman shirtless.
I love Australia.
So that'll be fun. Me and Rich Fan are having an awesome time with different guests to talk about each of the. No, we're not doing all the X-Men movies. We're just doing the ones that are really important to Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, we'll be talking about all 3 Wolverine movies, and we'll be talking both Deadpool movies. And we're gonna lead up to Rich coming to Toronto.
Yay!
So we can see Deadpool and Wolverine together. We might even have John Pollock at the same theater as watching it with us. We might even have Scrump from Chicago in person watching this shit with us, and we're gonna and we might all go get something to eat after. It's gonna be a fun time. Be fun time, Karen. Check that out. But you can't be a freeloader for that. We already did the freeloader episode last week. From now on, if you want to hear Karen's future appearance on MCU later, talk about the shirtless for most of the movie Hugh Jackman, then you got to pay up. Okay? But for other free stuff, Long and Wide Road, post PURORESU every month. And, occasionally I show up other places sometimes. So, but yeah, chopped-tees.com. Karen's stuff, my stuff, post wrestling stuff. What up, though? Poisrana. A lot of good shit out there. A lot of good shit. But until next time, thank you, Karen, for your time as always. Always a pleasure talking with you, my friend.
I love catching up with you.
And I promise next time we'll talk about Canadian musicians to start the show off next time. But until next time, I thank everyone, and we will see you on the next show. And until that such time, I will say goodbye.